Hello my beautiful people and welcome to my January monthly wrap up and my February TBR, not TBR, because yes, we're bringing that back this year. Because do I usually stick to a TBR? Not necessarily, but the month of January I've had a terrible reading month, so I feel like I need some sort of structure, some sort of list of books to get me interested and get me reading, because my monthly wrap up for January is actually atrocious. January is usually one of my strongest reading months, but this year that was not the case. So let's just delve into what I read in the month of January. Just gonna pop my tea down. So we brought The Hunger Games, the first one, into the new year. We took it from 2023 and pulled it into 2024. Did we enjoy it? No, not really. I am not a fan of this fandom. I apologise in advance to anyone that may offend or upset, but I feel like I should have maybe read this when it first came out and got on the bandwagon then, a bit like how it happened with Twilight. I watched that when that came out, I read the books when they came out, and I was hyped for it, and I will still enjoy those books, hopefully, to this day. But The Hunger Games just wasn't for me. I felt like it was quite predictable, and it just didn't keep me interested. I also kind of predict what's going to happen in the second one, and I do think that I'm not going to continue with this series. Might listen to it on audiobook, but for just now, I'm really not interested in finishing the series. So took this into the new year, which wasn't great. I did give it 4 stars, but I feel like it should definitely be 3-star because I feel like I was being too generous. But yeah, no offense to any Suzanne Collins fans out there, but Hunger Games is not for me. I also watched the movie, wasn't a fan of that either. Then the next one. Now this book took me about 3 weeks to read, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the size of it, but I was reading it during sort of COVID times, so I had the spicy cough and my brain couldn't function and read properly, so I had to reread a lot of what I'd already read. So a book that is ordinarily like 400 pages should have only taken me like a couple of days, because I would have binged it, took me 3 weeks. So yeah, that is My Roommate is a Vampire. I've spoke about this on my vlogs and everything. I absolutely adored this. It was so funny, it was so quirky, it was so charming. The main characters had me in absolute stitches. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know why I didn't give it 5 stars, because it did really make me laugh, but I just feel like I need to be a bit more careful with my 5 stars this year, because I feel like I just willy-nilly throw out 5 stars and I'm like, yes, this book is amazing, it's my favourite book, but I feel like they really need to be kept aside for the absolutely amazing, like the tremendous, like can't fault it books. So a lot of the books you'll probably see this year, if I really loved them, they will be 4 stars, and if I've absolutely loved them, they will be 5 stars, which is the way it should be. But I feel like I've just been very generous over the last couple of years, so this would potentially have been a 5-star if I read it last year, but this year we are giving you a 4-star. But it is like a strong 4.5 stars though, don't get me wrong. 4 stars don't necessarily mean that they are not 4.5 stars on Goodreads, but it made me laugh out loud and it was just so funny. And if you're looking for something to pick you up, make you feel a little bit better, and have a tiny little bit of spice in it, then My Roommate is a Vampire is for you. You can kind of pick it up in like all the supermarkets and everything just now, but absolutely hilarious, brilliant read, loved it. Then the book that I started at the end of January, even though I'm already behind, is The Society of Spines book club pick for January, which I am also now pulling into February because today is the 1st of February. But that is Kafka on the Shore. Am I loving it? Not 100%, but there's still time. I'm only on page 188, so I need to get this bad boy powered out before Sunday because the live show is on Sunday. Am I stressing out a little bit? Yes, I am. But yes, this technically means that I only read 2 books in the month of January, and one of them came from 2023, so only 1 full book. But that's okay, because reading is for enjoyment, it's not for numbers. But I do feel like I've let myself down a tiny little bit, because it's usually a really strong reading month for me, January. But February, it could have switched places. February could be my reading month for the start of the year this year. But yeah, Kafka on the Shore, don't have a rating for it because I'm not finished it yet, but about 188 pages in. I've swapped to Kindle though, because I feel like the writing in this copy is so small and it just makes me feel distracted and I don't feel like I want to like pick the book up, whereas with a Kindle, kind of flying through it a little bit quicker. There is some trigger warnings in this. I really highly advise looking them up because they're one of mine and I was not happy, and I knew it was coming, and even though I knew it was coming, it didn't make it any better. So yes, please look up trigger warnings for this. But yes, I am bringing this into the month of February. I will have this in my February wrap up because I refuse to DNF any of my book club picks. So we are going to be finishing Kafka, and I'm kind of disappointed because it's one of Daniel's favourite books and I feel like I am not doing it the justice that it maybe deserves. So I really need to get my head down and get this finished. Now, for the exciting bit. What are we reading in the month of February? Well, I want to have already read this, but unfortunately, I could not get holidays off work until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So guess what we are going to be devouring after Kafka on the Shore has been put to the side, has been put to bed, has been discussed. We are going to be reading my most anticipated book of the year, which, if you know me, you should know what this book is, but I'm gonna show you it. I cannot wait to drop back into this world. So this is Crescent City 3, House of Flame and Shadows. So it is by Sarah J. Maas. You guys have probably heard of her before. If not, she writes fantasy, and Crescent City is an urban adult fantasy that follows a main character called Bryce, and you kind of go on all the adventures and everything with her. Don't want to go too deep into it because this is book 3 into the series, so obviously there will be spoilers, and we ain't doing no spoilers. So yeah, she's big and we're excited. Sarah J. Maas loves to pull at your heartstrings, make you fall in love with characters, make you absolutely hate characters, and then kill characters off, because that's what she does best and really makes you go through an emotional roller coaster. But I'm here for it. I've bought my ticket and I'm ready to do it. So yes, this will be taking up my February at the start once Kafka is out of the way. That's another annoying thing. I know that I've really got to read Kafka, but I also have this sitting waiting. And when it arrived, do you know how difficult it was to actually not pick it up and read it? So hard. So yes, I am so excited. There will be a dedicated reading vlog to this. I've done that with all of the other Crescent City books, and I did it with the ACOTAR books as well. So if you've not seen them, go on, mosey back and have a little look. But yes, this will be up hopefully next week, the dedicated reading vlog. Now it will contain spoilers, so if you've not read it, then don't watch it. But if you have read it, then it'll be coming next week for you. Fingers crossed if I can get it finished, but I feel like I'm going to be binging this. So that is book 1, technically, to read in February. Book 2, Carmilla by Sheridan Fanu? Not 100% sure. I've had this for a little while and I was actually convinced that I'd already read it, so I had to check on Goodreads and it's still on want to be read. So I was like, this is a nice short one. So I think I'm going to pick it up. And as far as I'm aware, it has a little bit of a Dracula vibe. So it's predating Dracula by 26 years. Camilla is the original vampire story steeped in sexual tension and gothic romance. It's only about 200 pages. It is February, which is the month of love, so I thought let's put some Dracula, blood and drama and a little bit of sexiness into my TBR. So that is why Carmilla ended up on it. But I am very excited to read it because I've heard a lot of good things, but I don't really see it on YouTube that often, so hopefully I can make you guys aware that this book exists, and I will let you know at the end of February what I think about it. And then the last two, now I'm making the TBR quite short because Crescent City is quite large. Obviously I don't stick to my TBR, so you never know, we could be adding other things. At the end of February I could say I've read 10 books, who knows? But this is just to give me a little bit of structure because January has been such a rubbish reading month. But the last two things I want to read, now I've had these for absolutely ages since they came out, and it's Lore Olympus volume 1 and 2. Now I only have the first 2 volumes, but I do want to buy the other ones, but there is no point buying them if I have not read them yet. And because this is a little bit of a love story, I thought it would be quite fitting for February. So I hope to get to these 2 volumes in February. so that is my January wrap up and my February TBR, not TBR. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. What are you guys reading in the month of February and what did you read in January? Pop it in the comments down below and I will see you all next time. Bye bye!